Welcome to the third and final part of this tutorial. I really appreciate if you already have watched part 1 and part 2 of the series. That shows your dedication and interest in this tutorial. If you haven't watched that, please go ahead and watch part 1 and part 2 of this tutorial and then begin with part 3, which is about running our app on Azure. We'll be starting this part first by creating a free Azure account, so that we can host our application, our containerized application on Azure. So without further ado, let's move on.
Open your browser and type in Azure Portal Free. Click the first link you get in the search results. And on this page, click Start Free. This brings up the sign-in screen. If you already have an account, you can sign in, or you can simply click this link, Create One. Here you have options. Either you can use your email address to create an account or your phone number. Simply type in your email address and move next. Since I have already done that, I cannot enter the email again because it's giving a validation error. You type in your email address here, move next, then set a password for your account, and after that click next. You will be receiving an email with a verification code. Enter the code and click next. After that, you'll have to fill up your company information and billing information. Just fill in that form. Don't worry, you won't be charged anything. Now that you've created your free Azure account, sign into your account. Then the first thing you see after sign in is this dashboard. Now, in order for us to deploy our container instance on Azure, first thing we have to use is to create a container registry so that we can push our Docker image to Azure Container Registry. For that, click on this plus icon, create a resource, and search for Container Registry. Click the Create button, and here the free trial is already selected. We don't have any resource group, just create a new one. Let's give it RG Azure Learn. Let's see if it's available. The name is available, so next thing, let's give registry a name. Dev Learn. Dev Learn. RG Dev Learn. Let's give it RG Dev Learn. Let's check in the availability. Yes, that's available. This green tick indicates that the name is available for use. And we can select any region here. Let's select East US 2 because since this is default, most of the people will be using it and it may be high traffic. Let's choose a different one. And let's keep it standard. Next. Nothing to do here. Next. Next. Review and create. And click this create button. It's going to take a while. Deployment in progress, and it's, I think, done. It says deployment is in progress, so it's creating a resource. Yes, your deployment is complete. Go to the resource. So now we can view our container registry. This is the dashboard for our registry which we created, RG Azure Dev Learn. It's a resource group, sorry, and the registry name is RG Dev Learn. There are many options here, the statics of this registry, how many images have been pushed, images pulled, and tasks running. You can check all the things here. Also, one thing to note here, just on the left side, click on this access keys. Copy these things and clip and paste somewhere. Remember this name, registry name, RGDeller, and whatever you create, and also the login server. We'll be using these things. So let's keep them somewhere in the address bar here, or you can put them on Notepad. And also the important thing is that admin user, just click this enabled. Here to generate some passwords, you have to copy them and paste somewhere. Copy. Let me create a new document here. Also, we need only one of them, but we can copy both and paste here. Right? So we are done here. And we can check other things. Identity. The main thing here, the repositories, since we have not pushed any image here, so it doesn't show any repositories here. Alright. Now we are done for this task. We are ready to push our image to our container registry. Now let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Here is our project. Since we already created a Docker image of our project, now it's the time to push that image to Azure. Now we have to follow a couple of steps in order to accomplish our task. First, tag our image with Azure repository and then log into Azure Container Registry. For tagging the image, the command is simple. We have to type in docker space tag space then our image name and their tag and space our Azure login server URL, which if you remember is here. When you go to the registry, the container registry, and we have the access keys here. Here is the login. Let's go back to Notepad steps. Let's first tag our image with Azure repository. Docker image, type in Docker image to see our image again. So as I created free app with version 1, and let's type in CS and Docker tag free app. This is rgdeveloper slash this rgdeveloper.azurerc.io slash free app and version 1. Hit enter. There's some problem with my Docker instance. Whenever I try to run any image with the image name, it doesn't recognize. So I always have to use the image ID. But in your case, this command should perfectly work. Let me check the image ID. Docker images. Grab this image ID. CLS. Again, type in the Docker command. Enter. We have to remove this. Enter the command, the image ID. Now tag our image. Let's check Docker images. Sorry. Yes, we have this tag here. This is inconvenient way, but unfortunately my Docker is right now not recognizing the image name, but for you it will absolutely work because it has been working for me before. Let's now go to the second step. The second step is login to Azure. So Docker login, then our resource name. Let's do the same thing again. Docker login, our resource URL, which I showed in my previous step here. This is our URL. Alright, let's hit enter and give the username and password. Let's go to the Azure portal to grab the username here and let's give it. Password is already here. I had copied that. Again, I can go here and copy, paste here, enter. Login succeeded, so I have successfully logged into Azure. The third step to do is to push our image to Docker. The command is very simple: Docker push and our tagged image, which we tagged with the Azure repository. So we can copy the same and paste here. Again, I will have to use the image ID. Yes. For that, I have to check the Docker images. And this is my image ID. I can use this like this. Copy. Now let me write Docker push and tag. Enter. It should work now. Use the default tag right now because it didn't take my tag, it didn't recognize the image name, but for you it will absolutely work. I have to look into this problem and fix it, why it's certainly stopped recognizing my image names, or rather it works only on image IDs. Alright, it's getting pushed. Yes, now we can go to our Azure portal again. Let's go to home, container registry, and here on the left side, let's go to repositories. Yes, here is a repository, but unfortunately this is not a readable form as my image name wasn't recognized by Docker image commands, but for you it will be a user-friendly name. Let's now click this and we have one tag pushed to it, because by default if we don't mention, since I did not mention any tag in my command here, so it took by default the latest tag. So this is our latest version available. Now we can click here and simply say deploy to web app. Let's give the site name as my Angular app. It's available, free trial. This is the resource group, and app service plan we have not created. Let's create one here. Create new rgdo app. service. Yes, okay, East US2. Let's select this one. Okay, so it got the app service plan location as well, and this is our image. Let's run on Linux. Let's spin up a Linux container and hit create. Deployment is in progress. Alright, deployment succeeded. Let's click on this button, go to resource. Oops, there has been a typo. I intended to write my Angular app, but I have written mu Angular app. Anyways, let's see. This is our website URL. Wow, that's amazing. Let's copy it and see if we are able to hit this URL. Come on, this first time it's loading, it's taking time. But let's hope it opens up and we get the same decent Angular template to see here, which we saw on our local host. Yes, so I think I have mentioned when we are running this Angular app locally that when you first time run this application, it may ask for login. Simply type in test and test. So this is the same application we had created locally, and we have our instance up and running on Azure. You can share the URL with any one of your friends to showcase your work, whatever you are doing, and that too absolutely free without having to pay anything to Azure, and you enjoy these features from Azure all free of cost.
So that's it for this tutorial, guys. We have covered every part. We created the Angular application, we added Docker support to it, and we finally deployed our application on Azure free instance. I have one more video which is an add-on kind of thing for this series, which is about setting up CI/CD. If you are interested, you can watch that also, wherein we set up our continuous integration pipeline so that as soon as we make any change in our code and deploy the updated image to our Azure Container Registry, as soon as we push that image, the Azure should automatically initiate a deployment for us. You can watch that separately as an add-on to the series. Thank you for your time and dedication to watch this series.